welcome to the Highland Park Spotlight. It is your host, Keisha B, and I'm excited to be here with you this morning. Happy New Year. You know, we had the holidays that went past, so hopefully you enjoyed your Christmas, you enjoyed your New Year's, you had a good time, spent time with family, and so we are here today, and I am excited simply because it is the top of the year, and of course, I have no one other than the mayor of Highland Park, Miss Glenda McDonald. So it's awesome to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate that. I'm always excited to come and share what I know with the people. And who else would I do it with besides Keisha B?
Hey. So I know it's the new year, and you've officially been in the seat of the mayor a full year. So that's huge. Congratulations on your end. And could you highlight some specific achievements that has positively impacted the city of Highland Park?
Definitely. I'm going to start with the low end and raise it high. Well, I won't say low end because it's all important. So, one of my goals was to make sure that the youth was involved in the city. And we formed not a commission or a committee, but an advisory board that I've been working with all year. And when I say these young people stepped up and stepped out, they've been involved in a lot of the programming that has happened around the city. So shout out to the Youth Advisory Board. They're working hard. They're doing what they need to do. They're bringing in more youth to the city. And that's, in order for us to grow, we got to have young people coming in to take over and do what they need to do to continue the process. One of the other ones is always that has been, I have 3 kids that's veterans.
Okay.
And so, it's been dear to my heart that veterans have not been engaged the way they should be in Highland Park. Mm-hmm. So we put together another advisory board, a Veterans Advisory Board. And we've had a couple of meetings. We've honored them on Veterans Day. And now we're about to go into trying to get, this is a full commission for the city. I'll be coming forth with more information about that. But it's always a privilege. It's always an honor to serve our veterans because they served us. Absolutely. And so if we're not doing that, then we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Our senior program is exciting, y'all. Let me just tell you, Miss Bernadette Hudgens, also Miss Sharon Dunford, they have came in, they've taken over, and they've done the job. They've done the job that they were brought in to do. Excitement in every aspect of that program, and it's more to come. It's more to come. So if you had engaged in any of the programs, anything that they put in place, I'm quite sure you had a great time. And then our police. Let's start with that. Listen, I just got, yesterday, was informed that the majority of the crimes in our city are down at least 50%.
Wow.
50% last year. And we have the statistics available for those who would like to see. The chief is doing his thing. We'll chat with the chief. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be bringing all of that information forward to the citizens so that they can see. I know we got a long way to go.
Absolutely.
But to come in 1 year and reduce crime by 50% in multiple of areas, mm-hmm. that's something. Fire department. Fire department is almost, they need one person. Just one, y'all. If there's anybody out there who wants to become a firefighter for the city of Highland Park, they need one place, and they will be totally full, have all the people that they need. And they've been doing a great job of making sure that they're out in the community and doing what they need to do to make sure our citizens are safe. So public safety is at an all-time high. We're doing community policing, community firefighters out there. We're doing all of that to make sure that you're aware of what's happening. So any questions that you have about the police or the fire department, reach out to the chiefs. They're open, they're willing to sit down with you and talk to you about whatever's going on. Now, let's get to the main thing. This year, starting from when I came in January, up until, October, maybe? September? we have been in the battle of our lives, and that is for the water situation. And let me just tell you, the team that was put together, lawyers, administrative assistants, everyone who was city administrators, whoever was involved, they did the thing. They went to battle with multiple people, and with the help of the state of Michigan, shout out to Governor, shout out to Stephanie Chang, shout out to Mike McFall, we have solved that issue. We still have things to do, but the threat of the levy over the citizens' heads on their taxes has been solved. All we're waiting on now is to do what is necessary to make sure that we keep it that way. So that in itself has been a battle all year, and I'm glad to say that we were able to come along. Let me shout out some citizens, though. Let me talk about these citizens that went to Lansing and stomped the yard. That's what I call it, because they were out front. They were ready. They did what they had to do. They met with all of the senators, the state reps. They met with the people from the governor's office just to let them know how this would affect the city. And it would have been devastating. So again, I appreciate everybody. Everybody came together. We worked together and got this done. That was the biggest issue coming in, solved in 1 year. And I'm glad that we can now move forward on to the next year.
Okay, so you hit on quite a few different things.
I
got my questions here, and she just ran down the list, y'all. She don't even know what's
on here. It was a lot. That 1 year, I'm telling you, in 1 year, we have been able to do. I mean, I haven't been able to sit good. So
understand. So you did hit on a couple of different things, and I wanted to ask you, as far as some of the primary focuses that you had for your administration since you took office. So I'm assuming that one of the major focuses was the water, right? And
ma'am.
what are some of the others, and how have you worked to actually address them?
Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off the water.
Okay.
Because we have a water department that is outstanding, ran by Damon Garrett and his engineers. They're our engineers also. They have been putting boots to the ground to make sure that we had funding, to make sure that the infrastructure was being addressed, to make sure that our water is clean, to make sure that all of those things that relates to the water department is being taken care of. So, shout out to the water department and the engineers. They have done a great job. My goal for that now, we have instructions that we have to make sure that every single lead line in the city is replaced. The governor and the state senators, the state representatives, the legislative body, they've put funds in for us to the tune of, I think, $30 million to get that done. So we are going to make sure that happens. We're going to make sure that citizens are not being overcharged, because now we have the opportunity to have meters put under the ground in order for us to get the proper readings that we supposed to have. You know, there was always questioning about whether or not we were being overcharged or anything like that. Well, we won't have that problem anymore once we get those meters under the ground.
That's awesome.
Community and economic development, that's my focus this year. We have about 10 developments in the queue waiting to be approved so that we can move forward with growing this city. I want to see, as my former councilman used to say, I want to see cranes in the sky.
Yeah.
And I want to see buildings going up. I want to see restaurants, everything coming in. And my goal is to get that done. And in order for us to get that done, we need to work together. That's the Community and Economic Development Department, our law department, the lawyers, I said law department, but making sure that all contracts are cohesive, and then the city council members, and making sure that we're all on the same page and have the same goal. The goal is to grow this city.
Absolutely.
I can't bring a family here and they don't have housing. So that's a goal. We got to have houses. I'm working closely with the school district, and right now, in order for us to figure out where do we go from here to make sure that we have adequate schools for those families. So that's a goal. So all of that falls in together when we just got to get on the one page. Like our motto is, we are one community. We need to start acting like we're one community. And in order to do that, we can't be separated and continue the nonsense.
Okay. So how has the city fostered social inclusion and celebrated the diversity that we have here? And what achievements stand out in promoting a sense of community amongst the residents?
That's a good question. As you know, we have a variety of people here, diverse people, backgrounds, religions, sexual orientations. And so it is our goal, and what we've already done is to make sure that hopefully everybody feel welcome. Now this year, instead of doing what we called a Christmas tree, we did a unity tree, unity holiday tree, and that tree symbolized the different people that we have here, the different communities in Highland Park. I've invited everyone to come and bring a ornament to put on to represent who they are and who they represent. And I think we did a good job of that. We've been opening up our coffees and conversations to anyone who wants to come. It's not just for certain people. It's for anyone who wants to come and talk about the things that they feel relevant to them, that it's not being addressed or that is being addressed.
Okay.
So we're going to continue that. We're going to continue to make sure and increase some of the things that we're doing because our landscape is changing.
I agree. So you did mention the youth, and you mentioned the senior department and how the different events transpired. And I do remember there was a youth explosion. So the youth came and had this huge event right next door to the city hall. And it was a really good success. There was a lot of people that turned out. They had the mobile gaming unit. I can't remember the name of the company. Shout out to him because he's actually from Highland Park. And there was the senior holiday party and a lot of different events. So I hope that people start to participate, more people start to participate in the different events that take place. And so I know that this past year has been challenging. So what significant challenges outside of the water situation have you faced, and how have you addressed them or overcome them to benefit Highland Park?
Well, I'm just going to go right into it. The biggest challenge that we've faced this year, like you said, other than the water, because that was the most humongous challenge, is getting developments passed in the city. Now, I want to make sure people understand something. Everything is vetted before it even reached me. I'm going to make sure that my department knows if it has not been vetted fully, do not bring it to me. So when it gets to me, it's time for it to go on the agendas, or it's time to go to the planning commission or wherever it is. But when we get it there has been some hiccups. Let me just say that, because we've had some people out ill. But when we get it to that point, we're there to try to make sure that we are putting the best quality businesses, projects in front of the council. And so I don't want to go backwards with that, but that has been a challenge of once it gets to the council, or either it's being taken off, or either it needs to go back to somewhere, or either we're starting over again. And I'm going to be honest, we've lost some businesses because it has been such a long process. But my goal this year is to make sure that we are streamlining that process and getting it to where it needs to be within a certain amount of time, so that if a person has a grant or if they have a funding that they need to get within a period of time, that we're working with them to make sure that that happens. So yes, there's gonna be some changes to that. There's gonna be some great changes to that, but the outcome is definitely gonna be worth it. We need to all, again, I'm gonna say it again. If we're not working together, we can't get anything done. You can't put a puzzle together and have 3 pieces missing. You just can't. That means it's not complete. So all the puzzle pieces have to come together to get these events and these businesses, whatever it is, done. So that's been the biggest challenge for me, is getting growing our city.
Okay. All right. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. And when we return, I have way more questions. So you guys can stay tuned right here on the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Keisha B., and we will return right after this.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
TV 33 is moving to WHPS TV channel 15.2. Make sure to rescan the channels on your TV. Then go to WHPS channel 15.2 to pick up TV 33 and all of your favorite shows. The move is on, and we want you to move with us to WHPS channel 15.2.
Welcome back to the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Keisha B., and I am here with no one other than the mayor of Highland Park, Ms. Glenda McDonald. And if you're just now tuning in, you have missed a good 15 minutes of some really good questions. And we've been going in depth about some of the challenges that she's faced in her first year. And so right before the commercial break, we talked about some of her vision as far as economic development. And so I wanted to go back to that. So I know that there's a long-term vision, right, for economic development. And some of the key priorities for achieving the vision is kind of bridging that gap with city administration, city council, residents. In some ways, what do you think that we can do better to actually do that?
That's a good question. I think the biggest issue is communication.
Okay.
Communicating what is needed into the not only the citizens but the council, making sure that whatever's presented is that they're able to, dig into and get a better understanding of what it is that we're looking to do.
Okay.
So that comes from making sure that the law department is clear on what we present, making sure that the council members are aware of the projects at, in depth, and so that they can go out and see what's going on, aware, making some changes with the CED streamline of how that happens.
Okay.
And for me to make sure that the citizens understand how important it is that these developments are done.
Yeah.
And that's my job, to get out here and go and talk to the citizens and let them know, we can't go backwards. I know people want to see the old Highland Park, and there's always going to be some aspects of the old Highland Park, always, because we're HP for life. But we also have to move forward for the new people that's moving into the city, the new generations that's moving in. I mean, I didn't even know it was another generation that had started. Seriously. My daughter had this. I was like, okay, I know it's millennials, Gen Zs. Now it's the alphas. There's an alpha generation. And so that's the youth under 12, I think it is. They're under 14. That has changed. I didn't know that. So there's a new generation of alphas. And we have to start digging into making sure that those generations feel welcome here in the city. How do we do that? Because it doesn't look like what we're used to.
Right.
And our homes are 100 years old, a lot of them. But that don't mean that they have to look like they're 100 years old. And even when we build new ones, we can have that facade of what the historic houses look like, but with a new flair.
Yeah.
For them, for new generations. They want open concepts. They want all of that. They want all of that. My daughter told me one time, she said, Mama, I ain't never seen no house that got this many walls. So my house has a lot of walls because it's 107 years old.
Okay.
But when they're building houses now, they're leaving out walls. So you can have, so a lot of things has to happen. And it's just about whether or not we're ready to come together and get on one accord and move the city where it needs to go. Because we need the revenue. We can no longer continue to own our own property.
Yeah.
Because that means we're paying for our own property. We want somebody else to be able to pay for that property as far as property taxes. And that helps grow. We need DPW workers. We need more police. We need more firemen. We need, more city workers. We need to be able to give the citizens the services that they need and they deserve, because they deserve these things.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and they deserve to see a clean environment. They deserve to see new developments. They deserve to see a safe environment. We just got to get on one accord and do it.
Okay. So in your thoughts, what would be the best way to kind of attract new businesses and investments into the city? Because you hit on something big, which is the tax base. I had no questions in regards to the tax base, but you actually, it made me think, because we've lost some businesses. So that means tax revenue is down. And so in what ways can we as citizens and employees or, anyone here within Highland Park, how can we bring or attract new businesses to the city?
Word of mouth.
Okay.
We have to stop talking negative about our city. We have to start talking the city up. We have to show them what we see, that we live, and those that live here, those that work here, those that play here. We have to show them that there's some gems here that has not been touched. It's like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Once you pull it out the ground, it look kind of weird. But once it's been sanded and polished and made to shine, everybody wants to be a part of that.
That's true.
Everybody wants to be a part of that. So everybody wants a diamond, So that's what we have to do. We have so many spaces and places that could grow this city, that could be something beautiful. And don't get me wrong, we have developers that already have their own properties. Thank God, we did get some things done. We got some businesses approved to go back and do some other things, and now they're going to be able to start working on their projects. And so that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And the more people see the building going on, the more they want to build. Well, wait a minute, that's new. Let me see what's happening.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, word of mouth, advertisement. I've said it the day that I came in here 1 year ago. We're open for business.
Yeah.
We need to have another business expo. I want to have I want to have a career expo. These are some of the plans, and I'll talk about the plans in a minute, but this is what we need to do. We just need people to start talking the city up and not down.
Okay. So how does the administration plan to enhance community engagement, and what are some of the initiatives in place to involve residents in some of the decision-making process? Because I know, change can be weird, right, for some, especially when you're accustomed to things being one way almost your entire life, and then it just switches over. So what are some of the initiatives to kind of get residents more involved?
We're going to continue some of the processes that we had that worked last year, which was our coffee and conversations. We're going to continue our chat with the chief. We're going to add something, and I want the chief of fire to bring that out to the public. Okay. But there's going to be, and then also there's going to be a lot more events to come out and for resources, information, sharing how they feel. I'm going to do at least two times a year in each building. Last year I made it, I think, once, but my goal this year is to go twice to all of the senior buildings and just sit down and listen. We had a good time with that. They were able to tell me how they felt about things, in the city, because they are in those buildings, and they are. It's like it's like a barricade for them. But we want to get them out into the city more. Excursions, walk the city. I think that was one of the best things that was happening. Even though we didn't get a lot of people walking, I think it was one of the best things that happened because people got to see. Yeah. They got to see all of the different places and things that are, And so then they say, I didn't know that. I heard people say, I didn't even know that was over here. I didn't know. Get to know your city. Okay. It don't look like it looks. It don't look like it should right now. But in order for it to look like it should, we got to get out here and do what we can to make sure that happens. And so bringing them out, as in the words of T.I., bring them out. And we're going to do that. Let's get them out here.
I know last year one of the biggest things was the transportation, because seniors, especially in those buildings that you mentioned, just didn't have the transportation to get around. I noticed that there's some changes with that as well. Did you want to talk about that?
Yes, ma'am. Again, shout out to Bernadette Hudgens. She made it happen again. We had credits that was not being used by with our Smart account that was just sitting there, had been there. Wow. And so we reached out to Smart, and we got all the information that we needed. And then she started the program back up where Smart they're doing runs now to the grocery store. They're taking the seniors to the grocery store. And it's not just for buildings. Let me just say that. The grocery store runs, sign up. They have 2 days, I think it is, a month. Sign up, and they pick you up. We have bus services where we have funding where we can get chartered bus to go somewhere, if we have to. Wow. But we're utilizing the Smart program again because we have those credits. We have to use those. If you don't use them, you lose them. And so I'm glad that she was able to reignite that. We're still looking for another process, too. And we have had someone offer to be able to, come and pick up people and take them where they have to go or take them to the events. People are now coming back and volunteering, doing the work, putting in the request to help. And I'm excited about that. So, yeah, we got transportation now.
That is amazing, because I know that's some of the that was one of the main issues last year. Any other issues that came across your desk last year that you were able to address and rectify?
We had some problems with of course, thank God for the what is it, animal control,
Animal control.
but the animal ordinance. Because now we've been able to move a lot of these dogs off the streets, or vicious animals. That's what they call it, vicious animal ordinance. And our animal control person, he's been out there. Now, there's been some glitches, but we're still working through it. And dogs are, we got to find a place to store them until we can get them to shelters or wherever. But they have been able to get the ones off the streets that's been attacking or causing, and because that's that could be lawsuits up the wazoo. Absolutely. And so that's been a great piece that has happened. We've been able to address some of the questions with our traffic. We're still working on that. We have our traffic commission back together. There's been a lot going on, and the Oakland project. Let me talk about that. Yeah, it was off. They wasn't able to get everything done that they needed to get done because of the weather. It rained most of the summer, but we're there. We're almost there. They come back in the spring. They finish topping it off. Then they go to the next part, which everybody has been calling. When they gonna get to the north part? They're coming this year. Coming up, right? I think they're supposed to be down there right after spring, right over in the summer part, but they're going to finish up down here. So those are some of the things that happened that we've been able to
address.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you did mention Coffee and Conversations and Walk the City. So I know that you implemented, these were certain things that was implemented that wasn't there with the previous administration. I don't know about the administration prior to that, but the Coffee and Conversations, I believe, was successful because you had it 2 times, the second Wednesday of each month, I believe.
From,
and
what is it, 10 and
10
and 5?
10 and 5.
Yeah.
Right. Are you bringing that back as well?
Yes. We're going to start off with just the 10 because towards the end, and it's winter and it's dark, and people don't want to come out, too much in the dark at 5 o'clock because I know I'm ready to go in the house. But we're going to start off with 10 o'clock next month. We'll be back on the second Wednesday, at 10 o'clock, Dunkin' Donuts. And then as time goes on, I think like May, when it's really light enough or so that people can be out, we're going to go back to the 5 o'clock so that we can have the afternoon people come.
Okay. Are you bringing back Walk the City as well?
Yes, ma'am. Come May. Soon as the weather breaks. It might even be April, depending on what the weather's doing. Okay. I'm out there. I want to be out there, and I want everybody else to be out there. I'm also bringing back my walk the neighborhoods with the police because y'all didn't know I was doing that, but I was out in different areas and with with one of the police officers, and we would walk and talk to the neighbors out there just to hear what they had to say. We was able to get some streets patched up just being out there because we didn't know. Nobody was calling in to say, hey, the street is this way or that way. So we was able to get a lot of the streets patched last year. And if there's some still available, some out there that has not been patched over, give the City Hall a call so that we know, and then I can have that ready.
Okay. So there's a lot of different things happening. We're at the top of the year, so we still have a whole nother 11 and a half months to go. But over this next year, what's the main focus that you have over this next year? Just one.
Community and economic development.
Well,
community and economic development. That's it. That's the main one. That's not to take away from any other. Our vets, our seniors, our youth are the main focus. Just like water was the main focus last year, this year would be community and economic development.
Okay. So do you foresee any partnerships or collaborations in order to make that happen with maybe different organizations or government entities? Or
definitely, we're reaching out to every entity that we can. we've had a meeting with the State Land Bank, MEDC. We've had a meeting with the Wayne County Land Bank. We've had meetings with Wayne County. I've met with the Wayne County executive. I've met with Sri Tanadar's office. We've met with Stephanie Chang, and we've met with Mike McFall. Everybody knows my vision. Everybody knows that I got to grow this city. Okay. And so I'll be reaching out to anybody and everybody who's interested in sitting down and coming up with a conducive plan that and funding sources so that we can move it forward.
So so there might be somebody watching that is saying, hey, I want to bring a business to Highland Park, or I might be interested in bringing my business to Highland Park. Somebody might have something out in downtown Detroit that may be interested in putting something off Woodward or Hamilton. What would be the best process for someone to bring their idea to the table?
Okay. So if they already have a property, that would be a great start. But if they're looking to buy a property that the city owns, then the first step is to go down to the CD Department Real Estate Office and see if that property is available and what is the process. We always, there's thing. We start from the real estate office, making sure that the properties are available for purchase, and what is the process of getting that. Then after holding a conversation with the CED director, giving him their vision of what they want to do. Then he starts the process rolling with the planning commission. And then after all of that and the lawyers and everything, then they go, come sit down with me, let's hear about it. And then we go before the council. So that's the process. But if you got a business, let me just shout out. And I know Keisha keep looking at me like she keep talking because I'm trying to sell this. Listen, if you have a vision, and if you have a business that you think would fit the landscape and the narrative of our city, by all means, come by, talk. That's why we want to have this business expo, and that's going to be coming up soon. I'm reaching out to the Highland Park Business Association so that we can set that up. So let's talk. Let's start the incubation process.
Okay, because you brought up the Highland Park Business Association. So I remember last year around the same time, there was the Highland Park Business Association. It was a meeting at Michigan Works. And it was a huge turnout because there was barely any place to sit. So everybody came out for this meeting. Was there anything that stemmed from that meeting to where they actually started taking the process of building here in Highland Park?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 12 plus projects were people that were there that I know of. And it might even be more.
Okay.
But yeah, they've walked through the process. They're going through all of the things that they need to do. They're getting their funding together. And yeah, some people have even already started. They got their funds. They're getting ready to get started, or they have started.
Oh.
Shout out to Sepia Coffee.
Martell. Yes. No. I cannot wait.
You and me either.
I cannot wait. Sepia Coffee, he has his, their coffee grounds are in the congregation. And so I go to the congregation to get me some coffee sometimes. So I am looking forward because he has a building on Hamilton, right?
Yes, he just purchased a building. They're getting ready to start their build out. He did post that they will have a coffee tasting space and brewing by summer.
Oh.
By this summer.
Oh, that's soon.
Yes, that's soon. I'm
okay.
Ready.
I'm ready. So is there anything else that you foresee happening in the future, in the near future?
What I foresee, and I'm a visionary, and what I foresee is that there's going to be about 5 or 6 things going on at the same time. There's going to be people building at the same time, and it's going to be a wonderful sight to see it's going to bring excitement to the city. And we have the Joe Louis Greenway. They're going to be working on that all year. Now, I don't know if it's going to make it open this year. I don't know what their timeline is. I think it's like late fall or either first, like in September. 25.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, and we're working with them. We do have somebody that sits on their board at this time, bring back information on what's happening. From what I understand, I was told that Highland Parker was appointed, and so there's a lot. There's a lot. Just thinking about walkable spaces.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to me because when I grew up, I walked everywhere in Highland Park. We didn't. First of all, my grandmother ain't giving me no money to get on no bus, but I walked everywhere in this city, and that's what I want to see. I want to see us being at 3.9 square miles, 3.9. It's not a lot. It might look like it, but it's not a lot. And so just getting out, getting healthy, walking, looking, seeing these developers talking, police riding bikes, firemen out walking and talking, that's a goal. That's a goal.
So any particular area that you would like to see developed right away?
Sure.
Because I know there may be different pockets, but what's one area that stands out to you the most?
The middle of our city. Pasadena, Ford, Grand, West Grand, that area all the way up to Manchester, in those areas right there, they've suffered. They've suffered a long time. And due to the 80s, late 80s, 90s crack era, it was a toll. The southeast side, we have some areas, Beersford, Winona, East Buena Vista, those areas. We have a lot, so it's too many. The northwest side, across Hamilton, it suffered a long time too, and it's just time. It's time for us to shine. It's time for Highland Park to be the light that we know we can. That diamond in the rough that I told you about, we're ready.
Okay. Any beautification ideas that you have until developments come in that we could possibly do in those areas to kind of help beautify the area?
Well, we're looking into that with our DPW. Also, we have people who have adopted certain areas and parks and things like that. I think we can start putting out some nice landscape, just making it beautiful in itself. The park on Massachusetts, you see that at Christmas it was lit up for the event. Well, we want to make sure that all the other parks now are taken care of, where kids can go. Not just Christmas lights and nothing like that, but I'm talking about just clean environments.
Right.
And one of my goals was always to do it. I was always out cleaning up the parks. So getting back to that, having time to go out now and work with some of the people who's helping. So I think we can. We can put flowers in the parks. We can put, whatever it is, shelters, working with the rec department. Those kind of things to get everything going on.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to Sue. We got a sound stage being built over at the rec department behind on where the exercise equipment and stuff is going to be. And that's being donated and worked on. Absolutely awesome.
That is.
Y'all didn't know I could sing. Well, I can't, but I'm going to definitely go out there and listen to those that can. Have some plays, sit in the park and watch some plays. That kind of stuff is awesome to us. Our kids deserve that.
So you mentioned that it was being donated. So let's say if there's any other organization or company or anybody, an individual that wanted to donate their time or donate a park bench or donate, flowers or whatever the case may be to beautify certain areas, how would they go about doing so?
Okay, if they're parks, they reach out to the Parks and Recreation Department, was ran by Sue Narander, the director. Applications to adopt a park, she has those there.
Okay.
If they want to do something in areas like we have those islands, you reach out to her for that also. But if you want to do something that has to do with just an area that is owned by the city, a lot or something that's owned by the city, you have to come by and bring that out, and then come before the city council to get approval to do those kind of things, because that is property that we should be selling to prospective buyers.
Okay.
And we need to make sure that that even if you put this on here and you have not purchased this property, that it's a possibility that if that property is sold, that you would have to remove whatever it is going on. Or the person might say, hey, this is nice, let's discontinue this.
Okay. So we are going to take our last commercial break. And when we come back, we got to wrap up the show, unfortunately. But when we come back, I have a last 2 questions, maybe 3. We'll see. Here on the Highland Park Spotlight, I'm your host, Keisha B., and we will return right after this.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHPR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHPR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Welcome back to the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Keisha B., and I am here with the mayor of Highland Park, Ms. Glenda McDonald, and we have been having a great conversation about some of the things that have been taking place here within the city over the last year, and also most recently, conversation was about doing different things within the community to help with beautification. If you wanted to donate your services to beautify an area, don't adopt a park. And I wanted to go back to that because I do have this question. So if someone adopts a park, can somebody else adopt the same park?
From what I understand with our director, I think that's a possibility.
Okay.
Because everybody might not be able to be out there every week, 2 and 3 and 4 times a week to clean up or whatever the case may be. So I think it's a possibility. Don't quote me.
Okay.
I think I remember hearing her say that. But they can reach out to her, Sue Narander, at the Hackett Field House, Ernest T. Ford Field House, and find out that question. They can get the answer from her.
Okay. So there was also the question of with people wanting to come out and beautify the area, right? If someone was to come out and do that and they had, people with them, I know that you mentioned that you would have to come before the rec center if you wanted to do something.
Parks and Recreation.
For a park or the island, right?
Right.
If you wanted to do something within the neighborhood, you would go before,
you would
city
have to,
council?
You would have to check, first of all, to see if that property belongs to someone. And then we are in the process of selling properties. So with that, they would have to come and find out if that property is available. And if it's available, I would suggest that you apply for it. But,
Okay.
If you're doing something within your neighborhood and just keeping it clean and, so because I understand you don't want all of this next to you. I get that. I definitely understand, and we definitely appreciate it. But there's also some things that we have to look at as liabilities to the city, as well as, somebody getting hurt on that property. So things like that, we always encourage people to, if you're going to have something on a property, even at the rec center, even the parks, you have to have a liability insurance for that. So
Okay.
we ask people that if you're just beautifying and putting flowers out there and things like that, and you're going to be using tools, especially in the parks that we own and things like that, if you're going to be using tools, if you're going to be having a big large groups, that your organization who adopted the park have a liability insurance piece in place.
Okay. And that's just to protect yourself,
And-
protect the city, protect the residents. Okay. All right. So before we wrap up the show,
Okay.
is there anything else that you want to let residents know about? I know we mentioned in the office, though. This is what I was trying to get to you before the commercial came back. But I know we talked about hitting some of the businesses within the city of Highland Park, and then also the senior buildings and whatnot. So what else did you want to inform residents about that is taking place here within the city?
Okay, so the business part is, and I'll give my vision for that, is that we're going to be going to businesses in Spotlight, just like this, the Highland Park Spotlight. We're going to be spotlighting these businesses so that they can get their clientele, just tell people what they're doing there, and so that they can come out and support. So we will be going door to door business for each business, seeing if they would like to be a part of the spotlight on Highland Park, and as far as everything else, just making sure that people know that the city is open for business. That's the biggest thing, is that we want developers, we want developers from the city, within the city. If you have an idea, you have funding. Because I have to say that. You have to have funding. If you have funding or you have resources that can help get you funding or anything like that, let's talk about it. Because local business is important. Local business owners are important. So let's just look at that. I'm trying to make sure, and I don't want to do a whole bunch of talking, because talking sometimes don't add up to progress. So I want to make sure that we are giving out the process in order for us to progress. That's my slogan now. We're going to be doing the process in order to progress. I just want everybody to make sure, they get involved. Get involved. Come to the meetings. Come to the city council meetings, ask questions. Come to the coffees and conversations, ask questions. Come to the chat with the chiefs, ask questions. Come to anything that we have up at the rec center, seniors, all the programs, ask questions. Do not let anyone come tell you something and you have not asked a question about it or got the answer straight from the horse's mouth. That's where I'm in at.
Well, there it is. I do know that the block club meetings is going to be starting back up soon as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's been cold, so not a lot of people wanted to come out. So the block club meetings are going to be back up and running. I'm not exactly sure when. Do you know?
I spoke to the chair, Lauren McGee, who said it was probably in the spring, which would March, usually March or April. So they'll be putting together, because they are the executive board, and they'll be putting together their flyers. Shout out to all the people who came out to form their block clubs. I think we have about 15.
Yes. 15
that has actually formed. Now it's time to do the work. And for those people who have not formed on your street, whether you have 3 houses or 100 houses, please form. Start the work. Talking to your neighbors, telling them how important it is to keep things clean in the neighborhood, coming out to come up with ideas on how to help. I am open to it. I'm at every meeting just about. So as soon as they start the meetings over, we'll be letting you know.
All right. So you guys have been watching the Highland Park Spotlight. It's been very informative. So if you missed the show today and you're just now tuning in, you can always catch the replay. You can find the City of Highland Park YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/the @ Highland Park, and it will take you directly to the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find this episode hopefully uploaded later on today, as long as my engineer Tim sends it to me. So shout out to my engineer. He is one of the best Murray Wright alumni, also just like I am. So shout out to the pilots.
I'm sorry. You missed out on Highland Park. I'm sorry.
But
go ahead.
I did. But we the next best thing. So the pilots. But shout out to my engineer. He's great. He's been working very diligently to make sure that this show goes on. And shout out to RJ Watkins and the team and the staff here. And so I am really excited. Again, catch the replay on our YouTube channel. You can find it on WHPR's site as well. And you have been watching the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Keisha B, and I will catch you next time.